maybe 2. One burst.
3.5, yeah.
Okay. Okay, starting with your dodge, I like to go with Gambler's Dodge, so every time that you dodge near enemies, you'll get your melee fully back. Your jump ability, that's up to you. I have Knife Trick, so every time that I throw my knives, it scorches. I have Thermite Grenade, this is interchangeable with any grenade that you want personally. I have this, and then it adds Scorch stacks and has a chance to ignite. For my aspects, I have On Your Mark, so every time that I dodge, I get increased handling and reload speed. I also have Knock 'em Down, so every time that I cast Blade Barrage, it does more damage because more projectiles are being thrown out. For the fragments, I have Ember of Resolve. This is interchangeable, but if you are in content where you're able to get kills on smaller adds, it definitely helps. Kind of similar to Recuperation, but just on grenade kills. I also have Ember of Torches, so every time that I throw my melee, it makes me and everybody around me radiant. I also have Ember of Ashes, so it applies more Scorch stacks with each time I throw my grenade and I throw my melee. I also have Ember of Singeing, which every time that I throw my melee or I throw my grenade, it scorches targets, so that means I'll basically always have a faster recharge rate on my class ability. And for my last fragment, I have Ember of Benevolence. Every time that I apply Radiant Cure or Restoration to one of my teammates, it gives me an insane recharge rate on top of all my abilities. So I think for your class ability, it's like a 200% increase, and this stacking with Ember Singeing helps so much. You get your class ability back in like maybe 3 seconds after throwing your knife. And we'll always have our knife up on cooldown because every time that we dodge, it refunds our knife, and every time that we throw our knife, it basically refunds our dodge. So as long as we're next to allies and we're able to give them Radiant, we will always have both our class ability or our knife. Okay, and for the weapons that I used Witherhoard, Inner of Loop, and I used Apex, but all these weapons are very interchangeable. You can use Izanagi instead of using Witherhoard. I just personally like Witherhoard because it's passive ticks while you're dodging, you're using your other weapons, proccing bait and switch, whatever it is, popping your super. You're just always having passive damage outgoing. Izanagi is definitely better. If you have a div on your team, or if it's an easy boss for you to hit a crit on, like Orcs, for example, I definitely would suggest using Izanagi, but other than that, I just personally prefer using Witherhoard. It's also really nice for ad clear as well, which you can't really pass up on. For the fusion that I was using Iterative Loop, but I was also just testing it out. I just feel like Iterative Loop feels better for just about anything, but this is also very interchangeable with other stuff like Royal Executioner, which both these fusion rifles are craftable this season. Iterative Loop is arc though, so you won't get the surge if you're running triple surge for Apex, but if you are running Royal Executioner and you're running solar surges, you will get the damage on top of that, which definitely does help. For your rocket, I was using Apex Predator, but you're also able to use like a lot of different rockets. You can use Hothead, you can use Royal Entry, it's a Void rocket, so if you're using a Void Fusion like Null Composure and you want to run triple Void Surges, you can run this. I believe this comes from doing Nightfalls this season, and you can still get it just by decrypting like engrams and stuff. Okay, and for the armor, I like to start off using my Star Eater scales, because when I'm picking up orbs before DPS phase, which is like really easy, especially when you have on mods just to get a thrown melee kill, you kill a thrall or something, you get an orb pickup, and then you have armor charges and your surges are ready to go. But you need 4 orbs for your Star Eaters, but when you're in the well, or if your teammate pops a well at DPS, you'll instantly get full charge. So it's not something that you really have to worry about. The orbs also just come naturally. I'm sure by you getting kills, your teammates getting kills, somebody's going to generate orbs. You only need 4 orbs for Star Eaters, and they last until you pop your super. After I do pop my super though, because loadouts are disabled sadly at the time of me making this video, I'll swap over to Dragon's Shadow, and what this does is it allows me to reload all 3 of my weapons each time that I dodge, and it also gives me an increase in handling, which definitely feels really nice on just about any gun that you use. For your mods, going down from the helmet, I have on double dynamo, so every time that I'm dodging, I get a little bit more energy to my super. For your gauntlets, I have on dexterity and loader mods, but these are really interchangeable. You don't have to have on dexterity and reload, especially when you're running dragons, because with dragons, you'll always have max stability, which really helps with swapping. For your chest resist, it kind of depends on the encounter that you're at, like who you're fighting. But for the most part, the resist mods are up to you. What you want to put on your chest piece doesn't really matter as long as it's resist to help you stay alive. For your Star Eaters, it doesn't really matter what you have on. This is all kind of personal preference, because as soon as you shoot the first rocket and pop your super, you won't even have Star Eaters on anymore. I just have triple weapon surge, so that first rocket does at least get a little bit higher in damage since it doesn't have bait and switch. But you can swap these out, put recuperation on, put whatever it is that you really want. For the boots that I have on with dragons though, I am running triple surge mods just because you'll always have ammo and you'll always be shooting, because this isn't really a ability focused build, this is more a gunplay. Along with dodging, every time that I dodge I'm going to be picking up orbs due to powerful attraction. Every time that I'm dodging, I'll also be getting grenade cooldown reduction, and I'll also be getting overall all 3 of my ability cooldown reduction. Along with every time that I dodge and I pick up an orb, it'll also give me an armor charge, so then I'll have my weapon surges ready to go. And for your stats, you kind of want to try and prioritize as much as you can into Rezeal and then Discipline. I don't have my build perfected. That about wraps up most of this build. If there's anything I might have forgot or you have any questions about the build, feel free to comment them down below. I'll more than likely see it and respond to it. If you want to see more in the future, please do subscribe. I'll be making a lot more builds like this in the near future.